put me in front of a whiteboard and I can come up with 100 ideas in half an hour.
Jeff Bezos is worth more money than the entire yearly economy of over 100 countries. As of the 9th of August 2026, the Bloomberg Billionaires Index puts his fortune at around $294 billion. Forbes has him at roughly $280 billion. Either way, the number is so large it stops meaning anything. So let's make it mean something. Tuvalu produces about $60 million a year. Bezos could cover that roughly 4,000 times over. Iceland's entire national economy is around $32 billion. He is worth 9 of those. Estonia, a member of the European Union with 1.3 million people, produces about $40 billion a year. He is worth about 7 Estonias. And here's the strange part. He is not even the richest man alive. Elon Musk is worth roughly $817 billion, which is nearly 3 Bezoses. But before you picture him buying a nation outright, there is something important you need to understand about what that number actually is. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in a rented garage with money from his parents. Jeffrey Preston Bezos was born on the 12th of January 1964 in Albuquerque. His mother, Jacqueline, was 17 years old when she had him. His adoptive father, Mike Bezos, arrived in the United States as a Cuban teenager through a program that brought children out of the country alone. Jeff took his surname. He graduated from Princeton in 1986 with a degree in electrical engineering and computer science, summa cum laude. Then in July 1994, he left a comfortable finance job in New York, drove west, and founded a company in Bellevue, Washington. He originally called it Cadabra, as in abracadabra, and changed it to Amazon a year later after his lawyer misheard the name as something far more grim over the phone. He picked Amazon because it was the biggest river in the world. His parents put in somewhere between $245,000 and $300,000 in 1995. That investment is now worth tens of billions. He stepped down as chief executive on the 5th of July 2021, exactly 27 years after founding the company, and Andy Jassy took over. Bezos is still executive chairman. Jeff Bezos does not have $294 billion, and this is the most misunderstood thing about billionaires. He has stock, roughly 8% of Amazon, according to a company filing from May 2026. His fortune is simply a share price multiplied by a number of shares, and it moves every single trading day. On one day in early 2026, he gained $5.7 billion because Amazon announced it was closing its physical stores. He did nothing to earn it. He was probably asleep at the time. To turn that paper wealth into actual money, he has to sell, and selling on that scale pushes the price down and triggers enormous tax bills. Since Amazon went public in 1997, Forbes calculates he has sold more than $49 billion of stock. That is what funded the space company, the houses, the yacht, and the newspaper. So when people say he earns $8 million an hour, that is not a wage. In a bad year, the same maths runs backwards. More than 100 sovereign nations produce less in a year than Jeff Bezos is worth on paper. Here is what that actually looks like. Nauru, around $150 million a year. Kiribati, around $250 million. Palau, $260 million. The Marshall Islands, $280 million. He is worth roughly 1,000 times each of those. Move up the scale, and it barely improves. Dominica sits near $650 million. Samoa, $900 million. Vanuatu, about -$16 billion. San Marino, $1.9 billion. Antigua and Barbuda, $2 billion. Add the 12 smallest economies on Earth together, and he still covers them hundreds of times over. Fiji, $5.5 billion. Barbados, $6.5 billion. The Maldives and Montenegro, both around $7 billion. Even the recognizable names do not escape it. Monaco, $8.6 billion. Malta, $20 billion. Iceland and Cyprus, both around $32 billion. Jeff Bezos could buy the most valuable sports team on Earth and barely notice. The Dallas Cowboys are valued at roughly $10 to $11 billion. That is about 3% of his fortune. The Golden State Warriors, the New York Yankees, Real Madrid, and Manchester United together come to under $30 billion. He could take all 5 and still have 90% of his money. In 2023, the Washington Commanders sold for $6.05 billion, then a record for any North American franchise, and Bezos was repeatedly reported as a potential bidder. He did not end up buying. The Washington Post bought outright in August 2013 for $250 million in cash. A three-masted sailing yacht called Karoo, roughly 127 meters long, estimated at $500 million. A Beverly Hills estate bought in 2020 for $165 million. And a space company, Blue Origin, which he founded in September 2000, and which put its New Glenn rocket into orbit for the first time on the 16th of January 2025. For scale, NASA's entire annual budget is around $25 billion. Bezos is worth about 11 of those. In a 5-year period, Jeff Bezos paid a true tax rate of just under negative 16%. That figure comes from ProPublica, which published leaked tax records in June 2021. Between 2014 and 2018, his wealth grew by $99 billion. He reported $4.22 billion in income and paid $973 million in tax. ProPublica also reported he paid no federal income tax at all in 2007 and 2011. Now be careful with this one, because Bezos pays no taxes is a false statement. He pays tax on income. The point is that most of his fortune is not income, and unsold stock is not taxed. In late 2023, he also announced he was moving from Seattle to Miami, shortly before selling billions in Amazon shares. Analysts noted Florida has no state capital gains tax, while Washington charges 7%, and estimated the timing could have saved him hundreds of millions. Amazon went public on the 15th of May 1997, shares priced at $18. One analyst nicknamed the company Amazon.Toast, convinced Barnes and Noble would crush it. Bezos owned about 43% of the business, a stake worth somewhere in the region of $120 million on day one. By 1998, he was on the Forbes 400 list of richest Americans, and then the internet boom hit. By 1999, at just 35 years old, he was worth over $10 billion, one of the youngest self-made billionaires the world had ever seen. Then it collapsed. When the dot-com bubble finished deflating in 2001, his Amazon shares were worth under $2 billion. He had lost roughly 80% of his fortune in about 2 years. Jeff Bezos did come back, and he came back bigger than anyone in recorded history. By 2015, his net worth passed $50 billion. In July 2017, he overtook Bill Gates to become the richest person in the world. In July 2018, Bloomberg reported he had crossed $150 billion. That same year, Amazon hit a $1 trillion valuation. In 2020, he became the first person ever to pass $200 billion. His peak came in November 2021 at around $214 billion, when Amazon shares hit a record high near $3,731 each.